Music in video games can immerse the player in levels, make the world feel alive, or make them experience emotions, such as sadness, even fear. And fear is awesome. Today I'm going to be counting down the top 10 disturbing songs in video games. What is the feeling of being disturbed? Well, it's a feeling of uncertainty, or a strange or frightening feeling you have in your gut whenever you hear something out of place or see something that moves or looks inhuman. Like hearing the Exorcist music for the first time with the priest standing outside the house, or seeing the fog in Silent Hill and hearing the radio static for the first time. Honorable mentions go to Lavender Town, because the song always took a backseat to me trying to get my Haunter or Marowak in Pokemon Tower, but I'd always end up getting a Ghastly. Freaking Ghastlies. The Gigas or Gygas battle theme. Yeah, I know this should be on the list, but it's been used to death on these types of lists, so I thought I'd mix it up a bit. It's still really weird and unsettling, and also that fetus you could kind of make out was apparently there because Shigesato a Toy once saw a rape scene on accident. That sucks. Cave of the Past. Never really bothered me, mainly because I thought it was always kind of soothing, but it is still kind of weird. I mean, ascending and descending notes always sound weird. And of course, the Mansion Basement from Resident Evil Director's Cut. Anyways, let's get to the music. Conker's Bad Fur Day was a masterpiece of a game. I mean, an alcoholic red squirrel who hates all the cutesy bullshit around him and only wants to get back to his home, fighting literal pieces of shit, getting a bee to pollinate a sunflower with huge jugs, and aliens. Rare. So when you got to the cleverly titled level Spooky, you had to deal with zombie squirrels. But that's not the worst part. Inside you see your great-grandfather who has balls on his head, and all the while this entire level has this ominous, eerie music, with children laughing and bats and zombies, the latter of which groan about with their eyeballs hanging out of their socket. Man, Nintendo games could sometimes get really dark and disturbing when they want to. When I was young, I remember I would always play Tenchu, because ninjas are awesome. But when I got to this, I let my cousin play, because, man, the monsters in this level, and with that music, this song was embedded into my subconscious so much, I actually had a nightmare where the song was in the background of my dream, and I was walking down a long black road filled with fog. Kinda like Silent Hill, but this road I knew, and it was the outside of my cousin's house, on the long stretching road going into a cul-de-sac. Next thing I knew, I was being chased by zombies out of the fog, stretching on into another monstrosity that I could never describe. Basically another eldritch abomination for my mind. Damn you, Tenchu. Nah, but seriously, I love you. Thanks for the nightmares. The GameCube didn't last very long, but with what games it did have, some, if not most, were great games. We had Wind Waker, Pikmin, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Kart, Paper Mario, the amazing Zelda disc with the Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time on it, as well as the originals, Eternal Darkness, the epic Metroid Prime series, and Resident Evil 4. And man, did it bring the horror out of survival horror with this monstrosity. The Regenerators, aka, are fast, indestructible, unless you know where to aim and have the thermal vision scope, and, get this, can lose limbs and regenerate them. Kinda the point of the name, I suppose. Not only did this bastard scare me when I first played the level he appeared in, but the hard breathing and shambly walk he has while coming after you made me feel even more disturbed. Even his screech when he grabs you is chilling. A memorable monster from the already established freaks like the Hunters, Lickers, and more. And he has one hell of a disturbing theme song. I was gonna either put Ancient Machine on here originally because of the vocalization and sinister background music accompanying it that made the level feel really ominous and scary. I was also going to put the Library Suite if I didn't pick Ancient Machine on here, because it's ominous and sounds sinister as well. Like something might grab you when you turn the next corner, or something sneaking behind you, which makes sense because the Flood are everywhere in this level. But I chose Devil's Monsters. The Flood levels have some of the best, most atmospheric music in the Halo franchise, and when you went into this level and saw the dead bodies of both Covenant and Marines, blood being caked on the inside of hallways, and the ceilings dripping tannish colored specks, what a hell of an introduction to the Flood. This level has always been my favorite for its horror-themed landscape and setting. It was just like being in the Aliens movie. Even the popcorn Flood reminded me of the Facehugger. This level and this song are just perfect for Halloween. Fun fact, I actually just recently played this game for the first time. I had already beaten Uncharted 2 a bunch of times and loved that game. So I asked my buddy if I could borrow the first game in the series to see how Nathan Drake became one of PlayStation's most beloved heroes. The game was pretty good, some minor gripes and flaws I had with it, especially when jumping from the second game, which had stealth kills from cover and the ability to throw grenades with a simple tap of the L2 button instead of equipping the grenades like in this game. But overall, I liked the game. What I really liked about it was the adventure to discover El Dorado and the introductions to Sully and Elena. I also liked the horrific Spaniards and the demonic Nazis. Jesus Christ, I was not expecting this. I mean, sure, we had those Chintamani Guardians from the second part that weren't creepy but intimidating, and super strong and hard to kill. But here we have these Descent-looking creatures that were actually the original Spaniards looking for El Dorado, as well as the notes and corpses of Nazi soldiers who succumbed to the creature's assault. The music was intense the first moment I heard it. I was waiting to see what the hell exactly would happen. I actually thought I was going to find something way worse. A great level, topped off with a haunting track to seal the deal. Okay, so I haven't played this game, Silent Hill 1. Now, before you start hating on me for not playing Silent Hill 1, let me tell you this though. I have read the lore and read the backstories for all the characters and so on. And if I ever need a refresher, I could just watch Jordan Underneath's videos on them. I have played Silent 2, and the music is sublime, the themes and melancholic nature of the entire experience is amazing. But I've also played Silent Hill Origins. At least the soundtrack's cool, and Travis is a pretty cool character. The good ending for this game is actually one of the few times where it's actually pretty beautiful. The ending song is amazing as well. And of course, I love the soundtrack for Silent Hill 1. I've heard the soundtrack to this so many times and seen so many videos that use the soundtrack in them, I could never get enough of it. It can be serene at times, melancholic and depressing, or just plain creepy and disturbing. I mean, let's face it, Silent Hill has some of the most beautiful video game music ever composed. But this abomination. When I hear this song, I actually get kind of annoyed. Well, if I listen to it for a while at least. It just sounds like a bunch of dentist drills going crazy. That being said, the first time I heard this song, I was alone in my house with all the lights off, and my door was slightly ajar. When it kicked in and those drills started freaking out, the door started creaking, and it scared the shit out of me. Needless to say, this song kinda has a little spot in my heart, making me almost have a heart attack. Thanks, Yamaoka. You know, Valve has some really bleak, melancholic, and sometimes creepy stuff in their video games. Whether it be the lore, like the G-Man's true purpose and identity, the mysterious fate of the survivors from Left 4 Dead 1 after Bill was killed off, which kinda still makes me sad to think about it. And of course, the fate of a certain Doug Ratman. His backstory is pretty damn depressing, but I already expect this from Valve. Their games always have a certain bleakness of a reality to them, which I love, and Doug Ratman's backstory itself is amazingly depressing and bleak. Being the only survivor of GLaDOS' neurotoxin attack against the scientists who worked at Aperture, he lived inside the air ducts in various back rooms and corridors of Aperture Science's building, making sure that Chell would survive through the many tests that GLaDOS put against her. Oh yeah, and he's a paranoid schizophrenic who needs pills to keep sane, which he was running low on. Damn. Anyways, in Portal 2 you can hear this song. What sounds like Ratman trying to say something always gets me. He sounds like he's crying while speaking, or maybe he's gone insane from not taking his pills, which actually happens in the comic, or maybe it truly is his ghost. We may never know. I want more of Doug Ratman and Portal in general. Hopefully we get another one soon, but you know how fickle Valve is with the number 3. The SNES has some amazing songs that just stick with you for life. Link to the Past's introduction music that shows you just how amazing the new game will be, Super Mario World's amazing level music and overworld themes, and of course, aquatic ambience. Donkey Kong Country's music was and still is an amazing trip of different moods and feelings, while fitting with the levels they are presented in. Kremkrock Industries has the amazing Fear Factory song playing in the background, and the feeling of the song fits perfectly with the metallic industrial stage. Island Swing fits so well with the jungle stages. I mean, swinging from vine to vine while listening to the pounding drums and funky bass line never got old. And of course, the calm, relaxing aquatic ambience for the water stages. Just perfect. Now, the levels and music go hand in hand in this game perfectly, and none more so than Misty Menace. What the hell are those things? Those damn rock crocs used to scare the hell out of me as a kid, especially since they have red eyes that never blink, and they only stop when you use the stop and go switches. Oh yeah, and they're unkillable. Why doesn't King K. Rool just have a whole army of these guys? The Kongs would be fucked, and their island would be his. Now, this one is just a straight up disturbing, creepy, just unsettling little track. It's also the shortest on this list, but man, it really doesn't need to be any longer, I can tell you that much. Radio only plays in one small short section on a TV screen that depicts G-Man on a boat with a raven on his shoulder. The TV stays on for a second and then turns off if you look at it. It sounds like a number station's message, or maybe something that would play on a PA system in an abandoned city like Ravenholm or the ruins of another city. That's what I was saying about the lore of Valve games being so creepy yet so hauntingly beautiful. There are so many questions left unanswered, and it leaves us, the gamers, to try to find out what the next possible thing or route of the story or characters will take. The G-Man always was and still is an enigma that many of us want to know more about, but we're just gonna have to wait and see where it all heads. I don't even know how to describe this one. Just why, how, and what the hell is this? I mean, Nintendo just loved to throw curveballs at their fans, huh? This demonic sounding piece can only be described as the literal sounds of what the trip to hell would be like. The disturbing, garbled voices, the cracked out keyboards, the disembodied hands that grab at Mario in the water. This level is just one weird, trippy mess. Trying to cross into the River Twigs, which, by the way, is filled with the tears of sinners. I mean, to save Luigi from the depths is quite a task when you have this demented voice just mumbling shit, and someone playing the keyboards in the background like a drugged out keyboard cat. Needless to say, this song is really disturbing because it's in a game that is supposed to be for kids. Imagine how many kids had their fingers in their ears when they first hit the level and heard this, or how many turned off the TV because the music was just too much. This song is a real spine tingler. Just saying that made me feel weird. And will forever be one of the most disturbing pieces of music in video game history. So thanks for watching, and y'all have a very safe Halloween.